in double figures with 10. And the Knicks lead it 50-42. Jeff Van Gundy urging his team on to keep up the defensive intensity. Ward with a steal from behind. Hardaway gets it back. Feed underneath the outlaw, and he throws the layup. Cycli right there. Knocked out of his hands, and Ward picks it up. Cycli screaming for a foul, not getting back on defense. Charlie Ward on the leaner and the roll. And the Knicks now with their largest lead of the game, a 10-point advantage.
See how the Magic let Charlie Ward get in so tightly? Or their defense is a soft spot, so to speak. It's just not hard enough to keep the Knicks from what they want to get done.
And a timeout. Ronnie Cycli spending the time arguing instead of getting back on D. And the Knicks have a 10-point lead. In an NBA game. Remember, when you're having a good time with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. 2.5 remaining. 2.5 gone by, I should say, here in the third. And here's Ronnie Cycli. Watch, he feels he gets fouled on this, and he doesn't get back on defense. Arguing with the officials while the Knicks are getting back and getting a fast break, and then Cycli finally jogs into the picture.
Yes, that was very costly.
And there you see the Magic 0 for 6 here in the third. Knicks lead it by 10. A little over 2.5 into the third quarter. Anderson. Oakley boxing out, grabs the rebound, and a loose ball foul is going to be called against Ron Cycli. Teddy Bernhardt telling him to get out of the way. Cycli blocking his vision of the score. Little play for fun. Again, Oakley feels his man boxing out, John.
Yes, Knicks all over the boards, and Charles had the inside position.
Houston pass deflected. Cycli tips it to Hardaway. Ahead now to Anderson. Beautiful play for the Magic.
That may be their prettiest team play of the evening.
Knicks turned it over 7 times in the first half. They have 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. The lead is 8.
Allen Houston coming off that pick of Dudley.
Misses the shot. That went in and out, but he got fouled. He got hit by Anderson. Who has a word for Bob Delaney.
Foul number 25.
Allen Houston will go to the line for the first time. And that's where he's been racking up the points.
Allen
Houston shooting from the free throw line 87%. Charlie Ward with a cut. Mike Saunders attending to him. Houston connects on the first free throw. Eastern Conference standings. Knicks currently in 8th place. A game behind the Cavs and the Nets. Magic, of course, still one of those teams below that, hoping to get in. Allen Houston missing 1 of 2.
Right now, the Magic are 3.5 behind the Knicks. That's why these games are very important for both teams.
Hardaway. Anderson saves it from being a turnover. Shot clock, however, gets down to 5. Anderson fighting over a screen. Look at Oakley's defense. What defense from Oakley, and Houston comes up with a loose ball. Allen Houston coming the other way. Ball deflected out of bounds by Anderson.
You put that ball in the front of a defender, that you're asking for it to be stolen. There's another look at the Eastern Conference.
And the other 5 teams, all with a legitimate shot. Even the Boston Celtics this year, and who would have thought that prior to the season?
They've done a great job. Who's their coach, Mike? Keeps slipping my mind. But Rick Pitino has really done a magnificent job with the Celtics.
Celtics out on the West Coast right now, an 8-game trip. Knicks, of course, go out west next week. Denver, Utah, and Portland. 3 games in 4 nights. Oakley took his eye off it. Full Outlaw guarding Allen Houston. Houston trying to make something. Outlaw stays with him nicely. Larry Johnson with a long-range shot. Larry Johnson with 13 points. And the Knicks with their largest lead of the game, an 11-point advantage.
Well, when that ball's going in at better than 50%, everything looks a lot easier, and the team comes together, and it just helps their defense, too, because they're pulling together now better and better.
Knicks doing a lot of talking defensively, working very well together. Bo Outlaw.
You see how flat-footed the offense was as Outlaw went into his thing? They had no shot at a rebound unless it happened to bounce into one of the Magic's hands.
55-44. Knicks with an 11-point lead. Johnson Larry Johnson connects. And the Knicks lead it by 13. Johnson 7 of 9 from the field. He's got 15 to lead all scorers. Knicks have really come out strong here in the third. 9-2 to begin the period. Cycling. Cannot hit. Ball tipped out of bounds by Allen Houston. And it's going to be Magic ball. Magic woeful shooting here in this period. They're just 1 for 10.
The consistent theme for the Knicks from the outset of this game has been hard work. They've been just pushing, putting out as much as possible at both ends of the court.
Grant, another miss. 1 for 11 in the second half thus far. A 13-point Knick lead. Oakley trying to make a move on Grant. Blocked by Grant, but he drew the foul. Oakley and Grant always have a little extra war out there. Of course, going back with Grant's days with the Chicago Bulls, as Grant picks up his second foul, well, third team foul.
Excuse me, Mike. Charles Oakley was the big brother then. And he used to mash the younger Grant around a bit in practice. And Charles had the inside position, so to speak, as the main man at the forward position. And his style of play also established him even more so, as he was a rough guy, as he still is. And Grant's game, however, grew over time, and then Charles was traded to the Knicks. Grant stepped in and, of course, has become one of the outstanding power forwards in the NBA. In fact, over the last 10 years, one of the few ever to be shooting over 50% a season for 10 straight years.
Each year he's done that. The NBA record, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 19 straight years in a row, 50% or better from the field. Anderson, way off the mark. Outlaw the rebound. Hardaway. Outlaw tip, won't go. Ball loose. Oakley tips it right to Ward, and Ward will hold on to it. They are 1 for 14 here in the third. Oakley. Houston hustles and gets the rebound. Fires the jumper. It's good. Allen Houston drills the shot. And the Knicks lead by 16, taking control here in the third quarter.
All hustle. All hustle by the Knicks.
Timeout called by the Magic. Knicks have outscored Orlando 12-2 here in the third with 5:43 remaining. Their largest lead of the game, a 16-point advantage.
You'll see Keith Van Horn to carry Kittles. Kittles with the miss, but the all-star Jason Williams with the putback. He's got 16 Nets in control in the third.
The Magic crowd trying to get the Magic players into this one. Knicks have dominating here in the third. They lead by 16, courtesy of a 12-2 start to the period. Knicks defense has been absolutely sensational. Magic 1 of 14 from the field in the third quarter. Harper with 2 on the shot clock. Wild shot. Houston the rebound. Larry Johnson. Knicks showing some patience offensively. Houston with a move around Anderson. Left-handed puts it in. And the Knicks lead by 18.
Once again, being beaten off the dribble. Allen Houston rolls right in that. 1 out of 15 from the field. And the ensuing score for the Knicks.
And the Knicks now for the game at 60%. Magic 32%. Anderson. Harper. Derek Harper can't connect. Ball knocked loose, picked up by the Knicks.
No second shots either throughout this game for Orlando.
Charlie Ward hard to the basket, banks it in. And a 20-point lead for the Knicks with 4.5 remaining in the third.
You know, Ward didn't even have a man on him. He got the ball, and his man wasn't even near him.
The Knicks blowing out the Magic here in the third quarter. This defensive sequence, John, is as good as it gets. Knicks contesting every shot. Finally, the drought ends as Bo Outlaw, of all people, hits from the perimeter.
Yes, Bo does all of his shooting normally right around the basket.